Leadership, Andrea, is a big word. Is a big word because to be a leader today, I believe it requires a continuous learning. It's not like when you go to the university and you spend 5 years at the university, you get your master's degree, and then you are a leader forever. I believe real leaders are the ones that, in a very humble way, continue to learn and improve daily their leadership style. It's a continuous learning. You will never be done as a leader.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the World Class Leader Show. So in today's episode, I have the honor to have with me Luca Bovalino. So Luca is the CEO for North America for the business unit parking for FAAC Group. And he will tell us a little bit more about what the group does and what he does. But essentially, has been appointed as a CEO in July 2019. And he's leading the largest and fastest growing smart parking producer in all North America, consists of 5 legal entities. He has been successfully integrating and generating synergies across the 5 acquired companies under one single leadership. So we will talk about the importance of merger and acquisition, how make it work, improve revenues, profitability, and cash flow by 30% in just 1 year, and also increase the company market leadership in technology, quality, and services. Before that, he has more than 23 years management world-class manufacturing experience with substantial exposure in more than 10 countries, with North America, where he's based in the US, Europe, and Asia. He will tell us a little bit more about this. But anyway, Luca, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much for hosting me, and it's a pleasure. I find this initiative extremely productive and very helpful for all our colleagues and for your audience.
Yeah. So, Luca, by the way, tell us a little bit more where you are today exactly, so people can understand where you live.
Yeah, I'm connected from our headquarters in the United States in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As you correctly stated, the BU Parking in North America is constituted of 5 legal entities. Actually, today are 4 because in the light of continuous synergies, we started merging also some legal entities. So I'm in the Hub Parking Technology headquarters in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
and
excellent.
The other locations where I commute often are in Columbus, Ohio, where there is the TIBA parking systems, in Dallas, where we have Associated Time Instruments, and then in Canada, in Toronto, where we have our Hub Parking Technology Canada.
Great. How is living in Pittsburgh? You enjoy living there? You've been there for many years?
Yeah, it's a very nice city. Pittsburgh has almost a unique story behind its development, because as you may recall, Pittsburgh has been for decades the steel city of America.
Yes.
So the United States were getting all the main supply of steel from Pittsburgh. But then, of course, with the globalization, there has been a big downturn here in Pittsburgh, and the city went through a tough period. But the incredible thing is that they were able to completely turn around and rethink their business model at the point that today Pittsburgh, from an industrial steel city city, has become one of the main centers for IT, technology, advanced engineering. So we have here companies like Uber Engineering for the autonomous driving developments. We have Google, we have Facebook, we have Apple. So the transformation that this city has been able to do in the past probably 15 years has been amazing.
Yeah, that's massive. And I know there are many tech companies, innovation company now moving away from traditional hub, California, and going to different directions across US. So that's interesting. So didn't know about that. So that's great.
Yeah.
Luca, tell us, I didn't say when I introduced you, I did not go through your whole career history. I mean, as many, with more than 20 years of experience, if we start talking about our experience, it's going to take a lot of time, of course. But what are maybe 2 or 3 major career achievements, progression that you made? So just for everyone to know why now you are a CEO of such an important business unit for a group. And then a little bit later, then we'll talk about what FAAC Group does.
But let me say that I'm originally from Turin, Italy. But as soon as I graduated from the University of Turin, I left Italy when I was 24 years and a half. So I spent more than the half of my life abroad.
Right.
The company that hired me right after the university the name was known as Andersen Consulting. Today is known as Accenture. And I have to say that I had the opportunity to be deployed always on international projects. So I've been a senior consultant for Andersen Consulting, Accenture, on projects in Switzerland, in Sweden, in Denmark, in Netherlands, France, England. So it's been a very important experience that really allows you to live when you are still very young, what is called the multicultural factor of the teams, because all the teams were, of course, coming from all the regions and countries of Accenture worldwide. So the projects where we were deployed were constituted of team members that were coming from India, from Switzerland, from France, from America. So the multicultural effect of the Andersen setting was extremely beneficial. After that, when the first son was born, I decided to find a location that was a little bit less stressful from a travel point of view.
Yeah.
And I joined an important Italian manufacturer. It's called the FIAM. It's a leading player into the automotive battery makers and the stationary batteries, as well as acoustic devices. And I've been there for in Italy for a couple of years as head of the global purchasing for the whole FAAC Group, until the ownership and the chairman and the owner of the company asked me to move in the United States to take over the responsibility of FIAM North America. It's been a fantastic journey. Then there's been an interesting opportunity offered by, at the time, the Fiat Chrysler Automobile Group, now is Stellantis, for an interesting project of industrial reconversion of all generations powertrain carburetors into advanced fuel delivery systems. Which was very exciting because it's an industrial conversion with new product launches, and which I accepted after almost, let me say, 10 years of working with FIAM. And there's been a tremendous opportunity where you grow a lot professionally, personally, and with people around you that are really, say, great mentors. In July of 19, as you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, the FAAC Group, that has been growing a lot over the past 10 years with several acquisitions, mainly also in North America, asked me if I was interested in a new opportunity of working to merge all these new acquisitions made in North America. We are talking about probably I would say 7 acquisitions done in approximately in North America.
Of large companies or quite substantial acquisition or small company?
I would say ranging from $40-50 million up to $150 million. So medium size, but then the final mass and the final volume is I would say interesting. That was another interesting opportunity that could have allowed me to keep on growing professionally. And here we are.
Well, tell us a bit more about FAAC Group. So, because not many people might probably know. So I think you're doing some amazing product that probably is not everyone is aware of. As an Italian,
Yeah,
I'm aware
no,
of course, but not
exactly.
many.
So the FAAC Group, that today, a couple of years ago, we changed the name to stress the fact that the group is more and more focused on technologies and on advanced systems, is a group that was born in Bologna in 1965. So is basically a 60 years old, almost a 60 years old group, and is one of the international players today at global level in access automation, in parking and access control for both vehicle and pedestrian, both for the industrial and residential sector. We are present in 5 continents with approximately 55 companies and with a total number of employees of almost 4,000 people. So
right.
Let me say that the group is a very solid group with a very high focus on innovation, on automation, and the vision of the group is definitely to become more and more a global leader in high-performance solutions for access and mobility needs.
So, and talking about future, because one question I asked to all the CEOs that come in on the show is, what is actually this bold future? I mean, not every CEO, to be fair, is either designing or shaping or creating an aspirational future for people. Fair enough. But I'm curious whether, as a part of the future that you have been shaping, not just you, of course, but also, the company as a whole and the shareholders, etc., they're creating. So what is the bold aspirational future that you are working on? You said high performance automation company. Mm-hmm. What does it mean? So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, let me give you an example. So today the group is structured on 2 main business lines. One is the access solution, one is the parking business unit, of which I'm responsible for in North America. Let's look at the parking business unit. Until a few years ago, to design, develop, and deploy parking systems was mainly something linked to the industrial sector. So we were part of the industrial sector. A lot of hardware and basic functionalities.
Right.
The world has changed. I mean, we did what we call the digital transformation. Today, yesterday we were a part of an industrial company. Today we woke up as an IT and software house. What I'm saying is that the parking systems are more and more getting integrated with the smart infrastructure and the smart cities, as well as adapting to the needs of the end users that would like to have really a flawless approach with the parking. Just to give you an idea, Andrea, in America, people spend approximately, each person in America spend an average of 20 hours a year to find a parking spot. When I say an average, means that in New York City, they spend approximately 100 hours a year to find a parking spot. Imagine this, what does it mean in terms of traffic congestion, emission, costs, lost hours, etc., etc. The solution that the BU Parking North America of the FAAC Technology Group has offered to the market today is, first of all, allow the end users to have their mobile app where with our system they can, first of all, identify where the spots to park are free, to book them, to enter in a touchless manner without touching the ticket, without opening the gate, without entering by being recognized either Bluetooth by a phone or through what is called LPR camera.
Yeah.
And then exiting, finding the spot, book the spot, and then pay upon exit, always with the app. So all these objects and components of this process that I described are all developed internally within our BU parking system.
Nice.
Until we reach a point, for example, for important customers like, I don't know, Legoland, California, the famous amusement park, but the amusement park is, of course, something that you want the traffic flow as fast as you can, because kids are really not happy to wait to go on the games, on the rides,
Yes.
as well as to exit.
Yes.
And we put in place systems that are completely gateless. So they don't have gates. You don't need even to stop. You basically pass, the cameras take a picture of your plate, calculate automatically the time of staying that you've been, and then you pay with your mobile app at the exit.
Wow.
So,
that's really seamless, essentially, applications to, stress-free at all.
We are talking about touchless, because you don't need to stop and you don't need to touch anything. Cashless, because people today, even at Starbucks, everywhere they go, and you know this because also in Italy is happening, you pay with your phone as much as you can, okay? And this is what's happening also in parking. They want to pay also for parking with their phone. Another important aspect, and this is the turnkey solution that I was referring before. Another important aspect is, for example, related to the new, to the EV, the electric vehicles development.
Yeah.
Today, we are talking about approximately 6 million, 6.5 million cars, electric cars deployed in the streets in North America. But by 2030, the prediction is that these cars are, the number of these cars, of electric vehicles, will be almost 30 million.
Right.
So we are talking about 5 times more than now. When we talk about innovation and anticipating also the needs, is that our systems are also integrated with electric charging stations. So if you have any kind of electric cars, you can book a spot where there is an electric charging station available, and you go there, and on the same app that we have, you will pay from the same app the kilowatts used to charge the car and the stay for the parking.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
That is, let me say, really what we call, so we are, and this is what I was saying.
This is a pioneering, right? It's a pioneering to some extent.
It looks like a little bit the story of Pittsburgh I told you before, the steel city that became then the advanced engineering city. The parking was something purely hardware and manual, mechanic, etc. Today is all software-based, data analytics. And when I talk about smart cities, not only smart cities, because today, just for your information, Andrea, we serve approximately 110 airports in North America with our system, from the largest to the smallest. A lot of hospitals, municipalities, universities, the largest university in North America. The interesting aspect is that we are able to offer to our customers that are the landlord and parking owners the possibility to adapt also the pricing of their parking based on the traffic flow that they have. So basically, there is an algorithm in our systems that through the smart cities camera allows the parking systems to recognize when there is a higher or lower traffic flow, so that you can automatically adapt and change the pricing of your parking spot based on the occupancy that you have. So if I know that there is a high demand, I basically increase the price. And this is a dynamic pricing feature that is part of our
which is great, because it's a very American thing. If you, I mean, I'm sure that the application now is across the globe, but I'm thinking about all the stadium, the dynamic ticketing in the stadium in the US is something that was there many years ago, that is not yet in place, for example, in other countries outside of US. But this idea
what would surprise you is that even the city of Naples asked us for a solution like that.
There you go. Yeah, it makes actually a lot of sense. I think it's a way forward. It's definitely a way forward in meeting demand and supply. Well, that's great. So it's fascinating, by the way. So that's really, and I love the fact that back to my question about the aspirational future, it is an aspirational future because it's really going towards, a smarter city, is simplify things, seamlessly approach, and reducing paper, reducing money, cash. So there's a lot of positive impact, which is absolutely great. Now, if I think about the challenges that you have right now, and of course we had a little bit of brief, and chat before we got online today, but you said a little bit earlier, one of the major challenge maybe for you, and let's deep dive a little bit more. It's about how driving, a one single culture or different culture at the same time, especially when you go through massive acquisition processes. It sounds like the company has really been growing through acquisitions. You said before, 7 different realities. So is that your main challenge? One of the main challenge as a CEO is how to align different realities, entities, and working seamlessly together, primarily from a people standpoint, right? So is that cultural element one of the major things that keep you awake, or they keep you, more engaged than other things?
Yeah, I would say, Andrea, that integrations of companies are always a difficult thing. By definition, okay? Then when an integration is combining Italians, Americans, Bulgarians, Israeli, all together,
it's a nice mix.
It's enriched by so strong cultures that, of course, all together is it may look like a big challenge. The important aspect to highlight here is that it's been demonstrated in the best classes that you can take at MIT, at Stanford, Harvard, etc., that diversity is a key aspect for the acceleration of the performances of a company. So what for us at the beginning could have looked like a challenge, because of course every culture is different. You need to be extremely careful about how you approach a certain culture from another one, etc. But if you keep in mind that you don't need to overwrite their native culture by basically leveling all of them under one unique, I would say, company culture. Because the advantage that you bring in your company is exactly that. The ideas and the initiatives and the proposals that are coming from people that are from different culture are basically your value addition. So diversity is a richness in problem solving, is a richness in accelerating the solution of a problem. So the key point is not to level them under one unique culture, but the key point is to make sure that you find the sweet spot to make them working together, preserving their native culture. And this is what we have been able to do in North America. As a matter of fact, I have weekly, daily meetings with the teams. I have Germans also here. I have Israeli people, I have American people, Bulgarian people in meetings all day long. And the meetings are very productive, very profitable. Everybody expressed their ideas with maximum transparency without any problem to be judged. And the fact that you can, the most powerful tool since the Professor Deming time to solve a problem is the brainstorming among qualified individuals, part of a team. And when those qualified individuals are also diverse, you have an acceleration to the identification of the solution that is amazing. So, long story short, to say that what at the beginning was looking like a big challenge, at the end it came out to be
it turned into an opportunity.
But not only opportunity, but we also see these the results of this opportunity discharged on the results of the company.
So what has been the secret sauce? I mean, we all now live and work in a very international, multinational environment where any organization has a number of people coming from different countries, different cultures. And one of the things I notice I have a very international career like you. So for me, it's something very familiar. But still, people coming from different realities, there is always a risk of people trying to recreate their own culture and where they live, where they work with. So it's like creating sub community within the same community that is a company. So in other words, is potentially the risk is creating silos. So islands for the Germans, the Italians, the Americans. So is there any sort of, I know it's a difficult question, but secret sauce, how you have been able to put everyone together on the same table and sharing transparently, be constructive, be open, bring ideas. So you said very transparent environment. Is it essentially the culture that you create, the company culture in this specific context, that has enabled everyone to be himself, herself, sharing? So what has been the key, the element that facilitated that sort of result?
Yeah, it's a great question, Andrea, because first of all, regardless of your origins, you have among all of them a common goal. They all want the same thing. They want their company grow, be successful, and be the leader. So you need to, in this kind of situation, you need to work and think by common denominators. So having said that, you have some Germans, some Bulgarians, some Italians, some Israeli, and some Americans. Fine. What are the common denominators? The common denominators, first of all, is that they are all human beings. So, and human beings means that they have desires, they have ambitions, they have feelings. So the most important point that was also part of an interesting analysis made by some psychologists in the past, it's to open up always more the get to know each other. Because regardless of the fact that, but to open up, to tell about yourself, to open up yourself to the other and say, and tell about something about you that they don't know. And they tell you something about them that they don't know. So to really open up and also talk something about not business related. So when you start, we call breaking the ice, no? When you start knowing that, I don't know, I'm saying just as an example, you have a dog that is, I don't know, a Labrador, and his name is XYZ, and unfortunately, yesterday he was limping a little bit, etc. You are starting opening up. But then the day after, the guy will ask you, because he's a human being, regardless of the origins, he will ask you, how is XYZ doing? How is his leg? And then you start. That. When you start building that square of how much you know of them and how much they know of you, and you work to enlarge that quadrant of knowledge, of course, you need, at one point, there is some limit to privacy, but what I'm saying that as much as you work in an environment where you also share important things that will allow them to let you know better, and I'm talking also about myself, and among them, it's something that really helps a lot in accelerating these team building factor. Of course, then there are the usual activities of team building, dinner together, etc. But this point is extremely important. The second is that once you clearly demonstrate to them that the common denominator for all of them is to be in a company that will continue to be a market leader and wants to grow by taking care of their employees. And first of all, to me, is to take care, motivate, and retain our employees. Second priority is to take care of our customers. If you take care of your employees, they will surely take care of your customers. And then, as a result, you will continue to grow and become, continue to be a leader. Today, we are the largest smart parking producer in North America. But it's not something that we need to say, and we think that we have reached our final goal. it's something that it's an honor, but it's also a burden because you always need to keep up with motivation of your people, retention of your people, continuing to innovate. And when you have a team that starts thinking in that way together, regardless of different cultures that they come originally from, is definitely you have everything in your
Yeah, and look, I think it's great. So you touch on many things, but what my takeaway, what you said is, first of all, having a common objective and future and vision, so we are going to the same direction, I think is key. And the second is getting really related with each other, is knowing yourself and between the teams as a personal level is an incredible enabler for facilitating relationships, creating trust, building trust, so people that can, feel they're part of the same thing. So I think that has been incredible leverage for that success. Yeah. Now, what leadership you put in place in order to do that? So, it's, in other words, how did you enable that to happen? So besides the conversation that you have in terms of people have time to speak personally, to share their personal things, to get connected, but, how would you define your own leadership as a CEO that has really supported and helped the team develop in that way, the culture to become as strong as it is right now, and to be, the largest performer in your space? So what is your leadership kind of a, trait or style or approach that has really helped on that?
Yeah. First of all, Andrea, allow me to say that leadership, Andrea, is a big word. It's a big word because to be a leader today, I believe it requires a continuous learning. Mm-hmm. It's not like when you go to the university and you spend 5 years at the university, you get your master's degree, and then you are a leader forever. Yes. Leaders are, I believe, real leaders are the ones that in a very humble way continue to learn and improve daily their leadership style. It's a continuous learning. You will never be done as a leader. As a result of that, in the past years, what really helped a lot in leading organizations is to adopt the model that is known as a servant leader. Servant leader is a very interesting word because it means that your team needs to perceive you as the go-to person when they have whatever problem they feel they cannot solve. And they know that you are not scared about jumping down in the dirt and working with them in the dirt and side by side to solve the problem with them. Because if you think that the leader is someone that is very clear in the vision, mission, assign targets, and expect results to just give a reward, this is, I believe, an obsolete vision of the leader. The leader is, and the servant leader is someone that not only provides a vision, provides the mission, communicate where we are and communicate constantly how things are going and how each of your key people is doing, but also they know that they can call him or her 24/7. In these positions, you are responsible also when you sleep. Just last night, I had a call from Boston from one of my team members at 11 p.m. But the guy did not even say sorry for disturbing you. The guy say, hey, I need some help. Okay. They know that they can call me at 11 p.m. Of course, he does not call every night at 11 p.m., but it was a situation that required, and they know that they can call you without being concerned of disturbing you. And we solve together a problem. So a leader is, to me, someone that is as a coaching approach, supportive approach, help approach, but at the same time is very clear in defining the direction of the company, the vision of the company, the mission of the company, but is helpful. If you are not perceived as the go-to person when you have some problems, then you lose that level of reference that you should have in the organization.
Yeah, so Luca, that's brilliant because you explained before how you created an environment where people can feel safe to speak out, to share their personal stories, personal aspirations. So it's essentially you're demonstrating a lot of empathy, and the fact that you say servant leadership, essentially being in service of your people, is such a wonderful thing for a leader. And look, by the way, you're right. I mean, we speak a lot about leadership. There are so many people, they use leadership as a lip service. Like, oh, we all know how to be a leader. But the reality being, even myself working with so many organizations, is we're still back on the basics of good leadership. So I still see a lot of leaders commanding, controlling, directing, empowering people, micromanaging, hiding things. So the reason why we're still talking about leadership, because there is still a reason to talk about leadership. So, and it's brilliant the approach that you're having, and see them is making results. So, look, and just shifting gear for the final questions, I'm curious, what does it mean to be a CEO these days? Because look, there are I share a lot of things on LinkedIn where I say what I see as a trend is many people, many CEOs, they're starting to back off. They're starting to feel like being a CEO these days is stressful. It doesn't guarantee longevity. It has an impact on our mental health and personal health. It's stressful, it's demanding, it's difficult in an ever-changing environment. So, based on your last 4 years as a CEO, what does it mean for you to be a CEO? Besides the leadership, but what does it mean personally, professionally? So tell us a bit more about that.
But let me say this, Andrea. The first time that I was appointed as a CEO for a business was in 2007. So I've been CEO of
many years now.
3 organizations over the past, I would say, 15 years, 16 years. Okay. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the titles. When people in their business cards start, there are even people that ask me if I give you let me say, my request for the next promotion, may I have the title of vice president or senior vice president, etc. So I'm not a big fan of titles.
Right.
To me, what is important is the substance. When they ask me what's my job, I never say I'm the CEO of the North America. I always say I'm responsible for the business of this country, of this company in this country. To me, CEO is equivalent to responsible, but fully responsible. Responsible also when you sleep. Responsible for what? For what the company has put in your hands. CEO for me means to accept a challenge that the company gave to you, that at the same time is a big opportunity because you gain a lot of satisfaction when if you believe in what you do. When your job, when you are able or lucky enough to have your job coinciding with your hobby, you are successful.
Of course.
If you have your job just because of the title, of this money, of the salary, of the things, but you feel caged or not comfortable, then everything looks like a big burden on your shoulders. So the company gives you an opportunity, and a challenge to be responsible for a part of their business with aim to grow it and to thrive. And to me, this is really an honor. So to be a responsible, and today they call chief executive officer, fine, but again, the titles for me are just things that you put on the paper, but in reality, I feel just responsible for the growth in a sustainable manner, sustainable for the environment, for the people, for the community, etc., of your company. And this is something that when you spend 70% of your time in these offices, traveling for work, etc., if you don't feel like you are satisfied from what you do, then you back up.
Yes.
So to me, this is the equivalence. No?
And does uncertainty, ambiguity bother you as a CEO? And no, I'm still calling you as a CEO, although despite what you said, but just for
Yeah.
clarity. So, because many leaders at the moment now they are struggling with ambiguity, uncertainty, not having answers, and to all the major market shift and changes. Is it something that bothers you, inspiring you, motivating you, concerning you?
Let me say that it's part of the game. It's part of the game. You live in a chaotic environment, mostly after the pandemic,
Yes.
because you live in a chaotic environment where you need to deal with retention of people. In America, there is, and as you know, a very high rotation of people. You need to keep a very close eye on your top talents. You need to also cope with the labor shortage because we are 2-3% unemployment. 2-3% unemployment, Andrea, means 0%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you need to consider the effect of the inflation trends. This inflation last year was tremendous. This year seems has calmed down a little bit, but you never know if there is another spike. So your business is constantly exposed to these unpredictable challenges, and you need to be, of course, ready. But what makes you feel really, I would say, at least for me, okay, under pressure, I perform better. There are some other people that under pressure, they feel like overwhelmed. Under
Yes.
pressure, I am a person that under pressure performs even better. Of course, you can have some peaks of pressure. It cannot be constant because otherwise is a burnout, the way to the burnout. But definitely all these aspects that I just mentioned is something that will continuously and will always challenge you. But when you agree to take a responsibility for something, you need to take this into account. I mean, it's part of your job.
There is a wonderful quote from a famous basketball coach in the US that he said, "Pressure is a privilege." So, and most of the time we have this notion that pressure is a burden. Pressure is something that we don't want. But being in a position of shaping the future of the society, as you do, as many others in your role, is a privilege and pressure comes with the privilege, is privilege of being in a position where you can do it because not everyone can do it. So that's always, I think, it's something important to remind for ourselves, is looking at at the glass half empty, because it's good, the possibility of being able to shape that. Brilliant. So just to last very quick question for a very quick answer, because then I'll let you go. So of course you're busy, Luca, is first of all, what is the biggest lessons, in your career? If you look, the span of your 23, 25 years of career, what has been the number one lessons that shaped you until today?
But probably the biggest lesson learned is the one that we received from this pandemic. The COVID has basically almost killed our business. Our business, as you can imagine, Andrea, is strictly connected to mobility.
Yeah, people traveling, people moving.
We serve airports, we serve municipalities, we serve shopping malls, universities. When you are in a situation of shelter in place or lockdown, the mobility is frozen. So our industry was really put on their knees.
Yes.
And the lesson learned there has been the adaptability to a completely new environment, a completely new adaptability and resilience. Resilience there is a lot of talking about this resilience lately, but in the real mechanical term. So to be able to return to your original shape after you get a big hit. This is the real definition of resilience. After you get a big hit, a punch in the face from a pandemic that blocked everything, you are able to get back on your feet and get stronger than before. How? By rethinking about your business model. And your business model was rethought based on, okay, fine, we have parking systems and parking lots that are not anymore full like they were before. We are not selling any more new system because people are not traveling. Fine. What do we do? Because people don't want to buy. We started rethinking about how to go to market. Rather than selling the full equipment, we started the model of parking as a service, not as a capex, but as almost a leasing. We started focusing on the service of our system. We have approximately 6,000 sites here. The service is a big component. So we took that period to focus on servicing the sites that were ready then to go back, and that during the busy period, they were never able to go through an extraordinary maintenance. And so to really rethink about how you can adapt to a new reality and how with that adaptation to come back stronger than you were before.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, because we had on the show, by the way, Alain Bejani a few weeks ago. Alain has been the CEO of the biggest mall in all Middle East and Dubai area. And they've been incredibly affected by the pandemic, as you probably understand. Malling, shopping malls, etc., cinema, nothing was happening, and they completely changed their business model to thrive again. So you're right. I think it's a big lessons to. I think has triggered our ability to be creative, to find alternatives to something that was like, same old, we know what to do, etc. So, okay, great.
And just to go back to what we were saying before, the diversity we were talking before was a very important element in thinking all together about how we could react.
Yes.
So that diversity of team members, each of them were suggesting new ideas, new brainstorming, etc., was a big accelerator in finding and I want to say something that is really in the spirit of the FAAC Technology Group, but also of our companies. During that time, many companies of our sector, but also not of our sector, laid off thousands of employees.
Imagine, yeah.
We were and are really proud of not having laid off not even one person during COVID. So this is really...
And I know that where there was... I know as an Italian, although I live in London, but as an Italian, I know that, for example, for us, the Italian market, we really care about that. For example, not necessarily in all countries, we have seen that during COVID. So it could be cultural, but it could be also a fantastic strategic decision that was made by the company. So brilliant. Luca, if there is anything that you would have done differently, on the other hand, in your career, anything that you feel kind of regret, or you would have done in a different way, or you think you are satisfied with whatever happened to you?
Of course, not major changes. Probably when you are young, or when I was younger, of course, sometimes you have some reaction to certain situations that when the time goes by, you start thinking and weighing the things in a different way. So something that maybe 5-6 years ago was a big drama, now it's okay, fine, guys. Let's keep calm and we will solve it. Don't worry.
Yes.
So this is definitely, but not major.
Okay. Excellent. Luca, where people should go if they want to know more about you and your company?
But definitely there is the FAAC Technologies
we'll put on the
website, and then within the FAAC Group Technology website, there is the parking business unit link, so they can know more about what we do and our technologies. And this definitely, we are proud to be able to represent also Italy in this important sector and outside Italy, no?
Yes.
This is,
great. Well, we have a lot of people from the US, by the way, in North America, in the audience of the podcast. So I'm sure there are people that will be probably interested to know more about the technology and what you're doing. So Luca, thank you so much for being on the show today. I mean, it was really inspiring, knowing more about you, your business, but also your approach and how you embrace diversity and cultural differences to create a high-performance organization. So thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thanks to you.